Good morning, everybody. It is so fabulous to see you all and to be up here again and to be able to share with you. Yeah, I can tell by the smile on my face. I'm very excited. I took a different approach in writing my talk for today. A lot of it is going to be me just kind of freeballing it. So I didn't have an introduction, but I do have some song lyrics that I wanted to start out with. This song has really been speaking to me lately. I just felt I could really relate to it. As you know, I recently moved back to Denver, and it's been full of challenges, mostly challenges. So I've been kind of struggling with pretty much everything, and that's okay. And we're going to talk about it today. And it was very important to me that I not try to fluff up what I've been experiencing. Because sometimes fluff isn't the answer, and fluff can't mask reality. A lot of times, just trying to force yourself to have a positive mindset, that's not really going to do any good if you're not genuinely feeling it. So I want to share with you the experiences I've been having and what that has looked like for me and some of the things that I've learned going through it so far. So first, these song lyrics. I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming, but there's a voice inside my head saying, you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I make feels lost with no direction. My faith is shaking, but I've got to keep trying. I've got to keep my head held high. There's always going to be another mountain. I'm always going to want to make it move. There's always going to be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. It's not about how fast I get there. It's not about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. And that's a Miley Cyrus song. And it's just been playing over and over in my head, and I just really appreciated the truthfulness in it, where, dude, sometimes things get really hard. It's okay that things get really hard. It doesn't mean that they're always going to be hard. So moving back to Colorado has been hard. It was nothing like when I chose to follow my heart and move to Petaluma about a year ago, and that is what I was expecting when I moved back to Denver. I said, psh, I'm following my heart. My heart's telling me it's time to go back to Denver. Everything's gonna fall into place just like it did when I moved to California, because that's the way life works, as I discovered last year. It's not the way life always works. And I discovered that this year. And I had given a talk. One of my first talks was about how life can just work out when you choose to follow your heart. I still believe that. I do believe that life works out when you choose to follow your heart. However, life working out sometimes doesn't look like what you want it to look like. And that was shocking. So when I came out here, I fell into an amazing job that I absolutely loved. I found this wonderful church. I was given speaking opportunities, and I had the chance to sing, which I absolutely loved, and I had great fellowship and great friends, and everything was just absolutely wonderful. When I moved back to Colorado, I couldn't get a job to save my life. I couldn't find a place to stay. I fell out of relation with, fell out of relation with some of my family members, and nothing was going right. And I just thought, what am I supposed to do with all of this failure? I believe in acknowledging our feelings and emotions. But I felt like the only place that was getting me was pulled even further down the rabbit hole. Anger, bitterness, fear, insecurity, self-doubt, and overwhelm. I was flooded with these emotions. And trying to feel my way through them only intensified them. I felt no relief. And I couldn't figure out how to release them. All my old tools seemed useless now. Why weren't they working? In frustration, I spoke with a friend who pointed out what seemed obvious after she said it. You're not the same person anymore. Of course the same tools don't work. Those tools were great in helping to build you to become the person you are today, but you need new tools to work with who you've become. This made sense. If you want to build a log cabin, you'll need different tools for each step of the process. First, you'll need a saw to cut down the tree to create logs. Then you'll need a sander to refine them. After that, you need something to bore holes to connect them back together in a shape that you desire, and so on and so forth. As that tree develops into the cabin, it requires different tools to continue to progress towards its end goal. Picturing myself, my life, this way helped me to release a lot of the guilt I felt around my previous tools not working, but I was left with a lot of frustration. Okay, so I need new tools. Where am I supposed to find those? It felt like all the work I'd done to develop myself over the past decade had been for nothing. What was all of it for if I basically had to start all over? Defeated and exhausted, I didn't even know where to begin. So, despite the great advice that I'd been given, I kept trying to employ the same old tools that I'd used before. Positive affirmations, fake it till you make it, adjusting my perspective, meditation, but it all felt fake and forced. As a result, nothing would stick. I just got more and more frustrated. I thought, but it still works for her. It still works for him. Why doesn't it work for me? I spiraled, and I felt like I didn't know what to believe anymore. I didn't know what I believed anymore. And as I grasped for some remnant of faith to hold on to, I constantly debated in my mind why it was true or wasn't true. For every reason I found to believe it, I would think of another to challenge its veracity. The world inside my mind was unforgivingly chaotic, and I reached levels of paralyzing anxiety. All I had left that I knew for sure was real was the support of my friends. I knew they cared. I knew they wanted the best for me. I could see it, I could touch it, I could hear it, and I could feel it. I knew I could talk to them without judgment, without the judgment I felt from the powers of the universe and from myself. Their unconditional love was the only thing I knew for sure I could count on. So one day, in the safety of that space, I was telling a dear friend, once again, about my difficulty to release the overwhelming multitude of feelings that I had been drowning in, and how recently the feeling of anger was the strongest. I was worried because I knew that for me, unrelenting feelings of intense anger was a warning sign of oncoming depression. I knew it was crucial that I deal with it. but I had no idea where to begin. And my sweet, incredible friend, not surprisingly, gave me some very sweet, incredible advice. I don't know where she was inspired to share this with me from, but she decided to tell me this story of this comedian that she really loved, who she had recently watched a YouTube video of. And this comedian, I guess, was kind of doing an inspirational talk and spoke about how when she was having these feelings of just hating the world, because sometimes you wake up and everyone's getting on your nerves, okay? And it's a very real thing that happens. And maybe you had a bad dream and that feeling is sticking with you throughout the day, but sometimes you just wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you can't deal with anybody or anything. So this comedian had been having that feeling going on for about a week, and she decided that no matter what happened, no matter who she came in contact with, she was going to say, "I love you," to that person. And she either said it out loud directly to them, whether they were a stranger or someone she knew, or she said it in her mind. And she relayed how that completely changed the course of her day as she started to implement this. So my friend was telling me about this, and I said, "Oh my gosh, dude, you know what? My mom taught me that when I was in 7th grade, and this girl, Marina, was really mean to me and started spreading rumors that weren't true, and I was really devastated by it." And my mom said, "Honey, I know it's really, really hard, but pray for her and watch God work." And I did not want to pray for Marina. And it was very hard to pray for Marina, but I did pray for Marina. And within a week, I started having real compassion for Marina. And all of that hatred and anger and sadness and bitterness I had felt was completely gone. And it was replaced with feeling bad for her that she had something going on that made her so sad that she would want to be that way towards other people. So I decided the next day, after I had that conversation with my friend, that I was going to tell everybody that I loved them. And so I did. So I was in line at the coffee shop, and to the dude in front of me, I was like, "I love you." And to the barista, I was like, "Thank you, I love you." And to the person that cut me off when I was leaving the Starbucks, "Hey man, I love you." And what was really cool about this exercise was that I realized I could still have all my feelings of anxiety, anger, sadness, fear, overwhelm, whatever. I could have all of my really challenging feelings, and I could have love as well. I could have peace as well. I could have both of those things at the same time, even though they seemed to be conflicting. They were both valid and they were both true. That was really big for me because I didn't have to feel bad about not being able to get rid of my anger, bitterness, fear, and sadness. And it helped me to accept them because I could also accept love. And the more love that I was putting out, the more love I felt coming back to me. And it's okay that for some of the times that I was sending love, I didn't actively feel that love in the moment. It's really all about our intentions. And I intended to send love, regardless of how easily and consistently I was feeling pain. And I would feel a slight magical shift every single time I did it. Every time someone cut me off, I was like, "Whatever you, I love you." And I was still very angry, and I still had choice words for that person. there's just something magical, and all I can say is that you have to try it for yourself the next time that you're feeling one of those really intense emotions, to just intend to send love. It changes something ever so slightly, and it's really beautiful and it's really calming. So that's what I continue to feel as I practice it, because right now it's the one tool that I have. I'm still really struggling to get a handle on things. I keep having these debates in my mind over why certain beliefs are justified or not, why they do or don't resonate with me, going crazy trying to sort out my belief system, going back and forth in my mind over and over about what the right next step is for me, trying to figure it all out. So today, I'd like to leave you with the wisdom recently shared with me from another dear friend of mine. I want you to take this thought and sit with it for a moment. I can't think the answers of the universe, so I can't think the answers of my life. I want to repeat it for you because it was very valuable to me. I can't think the answers of the universe, so I can't think the answers of my life. We get really wrapped up in our heads trying to figure everything out and trying to know what's right and what's wrong and why it's right or wrong. And we get caught up in our crazy headspace up here. And we need to just take all of this stuff in our crazy headspace and bring it down and keep it in our heart, because our heart is what's really grounded. And let it stay there and let our heart transmute that however it will. And let it stay there. We have nothing else that we need to do besides saying, I'm taking this, I'm bringing it all down, and I'm keeping it here because I know that this is something that I can trust. So that is my very non-fluffy message for you this morning. It was hard for me to see people this morning because everyone wanted to know how everything was going, and it's embarrassing to say, it's really hard and nothing's going right, it feels like. But we're all human, and we're all going to face times like this. We're all going to face challenges. And like I said, for me, the one thing I know for sure that's true at this time is that I have my friends. That's tangible. I need something tangible right now. The intangible is very hard for me to have faith in. That's okay. That's okay, because that's where I'm at. And you need to just sit down whenever you're having really tough feelings and just think, what's the one thing I can hold on to? For me, that is my friends. And we have such an incredible, incredible network here. You can talk to any person that's sitting in these pews, and they want to help you, and they want to stand by you, and they want to be there for you and support you, and that's incredibly beautiful. So thank you guys all for being here for me, because I know that you care about me. And I hope that something I said was of value today. Have a good one, you guys.
Jordan, thank you very much. Isn't it so typical that Jordan is experiencing life? That's what our life is experience. And thank you for sharing your experiences with us. And you'll see there's a purpose, there's a reason for all these painful experiences. They're called growing pains. And every one of us will have them till our last breath. Truly. So,